Good
Hi,
morning.
everybody. Good morning.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 29.
Oh my gosh, we're almost at 30.
I know. It's so cool. So
Yeah.
excited.
Hopefully, some people will join us live. Let's hang a couple minutes before we start and see.
Yeah, we're growing slowly but surely on our new platform, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, I made all my friends and family join. Well, not all, but I have to keep pushing
Oh,
to have friends and family join.
subscribe, subscribe.
That's right. That's the motto.
Yes. So, okay. Well, let's get started, and everyone who's going to pop on will pop on. We're super excited to talk today about making our truest art and moving from creating art for others and using that to build our confidence, and then getting that hunger, that craving to make different art that we feel is more true to ourselves and what our soul wants to say, what we want to put out into the world. And so I suggested to Jeanette that today would be kind of fun to almost interview her a little bit as if she's a guest on our show, because she has been really, on this journey in real time for the last, how long do you think? Like really truly doing it, maybe like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 months where I really made the decision to stop trying so hard. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out my style and where I want to end up. I started out a little more realistic, but anyways, yeah, it's been about 6 months.
No, you were fine with
Oh,
chatting
okay.
about that. So so
Okay.
about 6 months, and um, you've been painting more realistic landscapes,
Right.
right?
Right.
And your passion up until this point, and you are inspired by the ocean and the ocean beach line and the mountains and
Yeah. So what I was doing is I was doing seascapes and I was trying to make them realistic, but inside, well, I wasn't trying, but they were definitely coming out more realistic. I was spending too much time on the detail. And I personally have always been attracted to the more abstract. Hi, Stacy.
Hi,
Welcome.
Stacy. Welcome. Get them chores done, girl.
Good job. Way to watch. I love it.
Multitasking at its finest.
Yeah. So I started out doing those seascapes and landscapes, and I tend to get a little bit more detailed. But what attracted me personally was the more abstract. And everybody, the simpler somebody can make a painting, and yet still have that feel. Plus, I was getting influenced by the what's out there in the market right now, which is the really pale, muted colors, and my
Mm-hmm.
colors always kept coming out, that turquoise, that tropical turquoise blue water. I live in California, so in Laguna Beach we have some blue water, but it's not as tropical as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that turquoise blue water. So my water was always coming out way darker than what you see out in the marketplace. So I was always doubting myself, like, oh, well, and I was also putting my thoughts around, will this sell? Because obviously I want to make this into a business. It's my dream to make a living from doing my art. And it's going to take a minute to get there, but that's my dream. So I was getting influenced by the marketplace and everybody wanting the pale, light, you know, colors.
Yes.
And I would start out trying to do pale light colors, but it would always end up darker. And I would struggle trying to, so I would go over layer and I'd go over another layer trying to make it lighter. And then it would dry darker. And then I would make another layer of water or the
Yeah.
mountains, and kept trying to take them back. But my initial was always darker. So it, all those self-doubts and those things like, oh, am I ever going to be able to sell anything? Am I ever going to be able to do it right? Because my colors are so dark. And um, so I think within the last year, even though I loved what I was doing, I would still think that in the back of my head, like, oh,
Sure.
the pale enough. Is someone going to like it? And I know why people like the pale landscapes and pale pictures is because they don't have to worry about how they decorate. They could just put a pale thing on the back of the wall, and it doesn't matter what colors they use in their decoration. But it doesn't show a lot of personality, but it makes it easier to decorate around when you have a neutral painting, right?
Sure.
Unless,
And well, can I say something about that?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that I've done a lot of thinking about that too, because obviously my art is not pale either, right? And I do a lot of pink and bright colors and just vibrant. And I have worried about the same things. I see the same things in the market, that is a trend. I think that the trend comes from the designers who are creating rooms that we see in model homes, in magazines, in Crate and Barrel, places like that where you're online and or you go into the store, Pottery Barn, that kind of stuff. They do that because it's easy for them to decorate around that as well, right?
right,
And so, but then that's what people see. And because that's what they see, that's what they end up wanting. That's what they
right.
end up buying. So it's like the designers are kind of dictating what the average person who would be buying our art. I don't know how to say it much
No,
more than
you're
that,
saying
but
it
you
right.
you
You're
know what
saying
I'm
it
trying
right.
to
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It makes
So
it easier. It makes it easier. But you're right. They could be influencing the trend. But and I have to say, I love me some hot pink, and you are gonna see some pinks, more pinks for me too. I always make my sand pinks,
doing
which
the
is
shitty for the
that one.
pink.
I always have my sand pink because I love the pink. And somewhere I want to go is Harbor Island, where it has pink sand beaches, which I haven't been to yet. But so I always make my sand pink. But, anyways, I think that it's hard because you start to see what's out there and what's selling or what you perceive to be selling. And because I
Mm-hmm.
have that in the back of my mind that I do want to make this a business, it was influencing and I was struggling because it was like, I personally liked more abstract. I do like some of the pale stuff as well, but I was just struggling with how I naturally was painting. So I don't know when was it, but I guess like we talked about 6 months ago, I said, why I'm just gonna paint what I like, which is
Mm-hmm.
I posted that thing that that guy, the music guy that's so he's so insightful and the way he speaks is amazing. Um, what is his name? Rick Rubens. And he said, your art is you produce your art to the best of your ability, to the best quality that you can build it and do it. And you have to like it because you can't control what anybody else thinks about it. Only you could like what you produce. So I made the decision to try to quiet my mind about what's out there, what's going to sell, and just do what I like, what I want to put on my walls. So that's kind of where I landed. And I struggle also between only doing one style because I like to do the seascapes and landscapes, but I also like pure abstract and inspirational abstract.
And there's no reason why you can't do both right now. Like I feel like when I was first coming into the art world, I was seeing a lot of that you have to have one style. You have to paint one way for artists and get for galleries to take you seriously and
And
all
that's
of
the
this, right?
galleries.
Yes. And so we're creating for galleries, honestly, because we used to be that galleries were the gateway into being a successful artist. We needed them. And Lee is saying now that she can relate. And then she's saying, yes, do both, because the thing is that I'm seeing people come in. I'm not the best for like being able to multitask here.
No,
We might need to give that back to you. But
you're
anyway,
multitasking
um,
and you're interviewing.
I know I'm doing a lot today. Okay, so but I think that because we have more control over our businesses with social media and being able to, really be our own boss and put our own stuff out there, that we are artists, we are creative, we can't paint the same thing over and over again a million times. How boring is that? So
Right.
I think that you can do your landscapes and you can do your blow out abstract and have both, and even have them in the same booth if you were to do a show. But what will tie it together is the way that you paint and the colors that you're using, right? And so they'll still look cool, and you're going to attract double the clients or the collectors, because you are going to have people that really only like abstract, and you're going to like have the people that love a beautiful seascape. And
That's a good
so,
point. That
yeah,
is a totally good point. And because I'm trying to make them both more, or the seascapes and landscapes more abstracted, then I think that also will relate better. But yeah, so I want to tell everybody that I'm transitioning from like realistic. So this was one I did that was a little bit more realistic, right?
the cone flowers. Yep.
Yeah. And then I did this one next, which has just a little bit more, it's still pretty realistic, I think.
But
And
you got more abstract, in the, oh, you and your paintings, you got more abstract in the water on that one.
yeah,
Um, I
and
think
then
you're kind of piecing it together, right? A little bit here and there.
yeah, and then this one I feel like is more very getting even further into the abstract. So
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm on this journey, and if you guys follow me, you'll see as I post, I'm going to try to keep pushing and keep putting more abstraction in and try to make it looser and just more free and fun, and something that makes me happy, and also something that I want to put on my wall, and then maybe people will love it and then it'll all work out.
No, maybe they will. That's the,
Yeah.
once you start to create art that you love and that you want to put on your walls, then you will find, you start posting that and putting that out to your community, you are going to find the people that love your art.
Right.
They're going to gravitate towards you. Hi,
Right.
Bernie. Hi, Lee. Bernie
Mhm.
said, I think your style comes out in whatever we create, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it evolves. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I mean, when things come up in my feed about your memories, and you see what you were painting even a year ago, my stuff has
Right.
changed a lot since then. And I think that's what keeps it fresh and fun. That's also what keeps people following you and wanting to see what you're going to do. It's follow you and the others will come.
Well, and that's the big question that we all deal with, right? Is like how to get your art in front of the right people. And that's what our main job is on posting, is just to get our art in front of the right people. So, and the people that like it will start following us. And so it's just, I also had in my mind, within a year, within 2 years, well, it's going on 2 years, but I wanted it to happen faster than it's happening. So I'm sure everybody feels the same.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, but it does take a while. And I like the idea that you've got your show. Lee Morrison, who was on our show before, she's been doing shows. I think because social media is so unpredictable, I think that is a really good way to get collectors, is by seeing them in person, talking to them. They get to know you a little better. So I think once I kind of narrow down where I want to be style wise and abstract wise, I think then I'm going to really research and do some more research like you were doing on shows, and try to
That's
get into
good.
some juried shows and see. But I feel like I need to get better. Like I need to get my style kind of where I'm like, oh, this is it. Like I look at you, Terry, and I see you have it. You're loving every single thing you create. Well, most everything you create, but
Almost.
to
Yeah.
me, you definitely have a look and a feel and a style. And even though I do too, I feel like it's not quite um, as narrowed down as I want. As like, I don't have that feeling like, oh, this is
This
it.
is it. Yes,
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Which is really crazy to hear you say that, because when we are our own worst critic, right? And so
Mhm.
I see my stuff and I'm like, do I have a style? I mean, I feel like just in the last show that I did with the at the Best of the Northwest, that first show, I feel like that kind of honed in into my style. And I think I'm maybe like 3 or 4 months ahead of you in the decision of, you know what? I've got enough confidence now. I've painted enough that, and people have been responsive to my art. I've proven that I can paint something. You know, I had to prove to myself, and I felt like I had to prove to others because I was coming in as I've never painted before or never
Well,
created anything before.
you know what I think did that for you, Terry, was because you had to have so many paintings done. So
Yes,
you were going in your studio and painting every single day. So you did a big body of work. And I haven't had that opportunity yet to where I can just have time to
yes.
just create a bunch of paintings. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
doing
think that's
like
very true.
one or two a week instead of like one every single day. So I need to get a little bit more disciplined because I think that helped you hone your style.
That did. And I think along with that, what helped was that I was doing so many at once. I mean, you remember
Yeah.
I had like 5 or 6 paintings going all at the same time. It really freed me up to just be crazy and just do. If there was a painting in front of me and I had an idea and I was like, oh, what would happen if I did this? I just did it because if I screwed it up, I had 4 other ones on the table. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
creating a larger amounts at the same time while
Oh,
you're doing the body of work frees you to nothing's precious.
right.
And we talked about that, I think, was it last week,
Yeah.
about being afraid to, I don't even remember, we
The
talk about it so
canvas.
often,
Yeah. Yeah.
not messing up the canvas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like you just gotta like set aside in your budget enough money that you can go buy 10 canvases that are earmarked for a total screw up. There's
Yeah.
no expectation on them to be anything at all. And just know that if you mess them up, that money's gone. It's already spent. It's not, and then just create. And
Yeah.
that fear of messing them up, you've already given yourself permission to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and I think doing it in a group in a span of time helps as well because I think my time is getting a little bit too spread out, doing a painting
Mm-hmm.
here on this day, and then a week later I do another painting. I feel like I need that. Like I need to take a week vacation, and
Yes.
just
And
paint.
just paint. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That would
For
be amazing.
sure.
So
Yeah.
maybe I'll do that down the road, but I think that would
And
help a lot.
how do you, so moving forward, I feel
Yes.
like in our conversations that we've had outside of the show, one of the biggest, I struggle with this too. One of the biggest thing as you start to kind of blow things out and make them more abstract is that it's very hard to combat inside wanting to go in and make it look more like, Bernie, sorry, just saw that come up.
What
Look
did
what
she
you,
say?
that's called a retreat. We should do one.
Yay! Yes, we want to do that. Oh my
Don't
God.
worry, we are talking about that behind the scenes. It's coming
Yes.
at some point, but we're going to do it. Don't worry.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
absolutely. That is
Exactly.
called a retreat. But yes, we need,
Yeah.
we just
We
need to
want
like
that.
be in a perpetual retreat is what we need.
Oh, for sure.
Perpetual.
Oh my God.
I forgot what I was saying because Bernie got me laughing.
Oh,
Um, what the heck was it? Oh,
moving forward.
what we struggle with is that you want it to be abstract, but because we have that pull from before of like it has to be sellable, it has to be what somebody will like, you go back in and slowly, if you have too much time to work on the painting, you slowly go back in and change it, and it starts to become more realistic because that's what we feel like we need to have in order for it to be successful.
Yeah, and I
So
don't think
how
it's
are you
necessarily
combating that?
well, for me, again, I go back to that to block any of that kind of talk that I give myself in my head about, well, this will, if that question comes in my head, will this sell? I'm trying to readjust that and say, no, no, don't think that. Do you like it? Do you want to put that on your
Mm,
wall? Do you see a change? Like, is it all the same shapes? Is there's enough difference in value? I'm looking at that more so now, or I'm trying to get myself out of the mode. I think also with me, because I have a limited space. When we went back and we're talking about canvases, I think I also had in my head that every canvas I make has to be something that would sell, because I don't have a lot of storage, right? So I
Mhm.
don't have a lot of storage to have the 10 paintings that I want to paint over because they're horrible. But so I think I had that pressure putting on myself as well. And I'm trying to get that out of the way. And if I have 10 paintings that I have to store in the garage, I store them in the garage, and or 20 paintings or whatever it is. And if I want to go back in and repaint over them, I will. And I just got to let that go. It's part of what we do. And I also think if I have the goal of going to a show, and Lee, and you can talk to this a little bit more, the more you do, you could then weed down and just bring your favorites to the show. If you have enough of the paintings available that you've done, you can weed down and just pick your best ones. So
Yes.
I'm also thinking along that line too. So I'm
Yeah, for
trying to
sure.
just shift my mind. It's such a mindset thing for
It's
sure.
all mindset. I mean, I would say that, you know, a major bulk of creating is mindset.
Yes.
And then the rest is just doing it, right? But you and then it's mindset to before you get started. It's mindset as you start. It's mindset during it. It's mindset at the beginning. And then it's mindset when you see it and you're sitting in your space and it's around you and you're like, oh, I should fix that. Oh, I should, and it's hard. And the only thing sometimes that stops me with my finished pieces is that I've already varnished them. So I'm like, no, no, young lady, you have varnished them. You're not changing them. Leave them alone. They're fine. They
You're
were
so
done. They're
you're so
done.
you're so funny you said that, because when I was first painting, I was varnishing everything after I thought it was done, and then a couple of times I wanted to go back in. So I decided I wouldn't varnish these until somebody wanted to buy them, and then I would go in and varnish them, so that if I did want to paint over, I did want to do something later, I can, as I'm developing
Sure,
each.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it's so funny you said that, because that was true too, that I was varnishing right away instead of waiting a minute. But and like, I do feel like this one, I feel like, oh, this is my favorite so far. So I feel like I'm getting there. I just need like that retreat, Bernadette. I need that retreat where I'm just chilling. Yeah. I can't wait to just do that. And I have to carve out the time to make more time to do that stuff. So I'm going to try. But
Yeah, I mean, life is crazy because it does take, it's there's certain things that we have to do in order to live and eat and, survive.
mhm,
And sometimes there are seasons in our life where that takes precedence over being able to have the time to just sit around and create art and do whatever. So it's
yeah.
understandable that you don't have time right now because you're in not only are you transitioning in your and your art, but you are making a major transition in your life as well with your career. So um,
Yeah.
it's interesting that those are coinciding at the same time.
I
It's
know.
almost like subconsciously your brain was like, screw it, we're changing everything anyway.
Totally.
Might as well just go for it. Let's
I
create
think
the art I
so.
want to create.
I think so. I think that's totally true. Instead of trying so hard to please other people, I'm just like, forget it. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down this road with my career that's totally different from anything I've ever done. And I'm not going to worry about whether my art sells or not. I'm just going to create things I love.
That's the true flex. That's the true, like, I feel like when you have really arrived is when you can finally get to that place that you're making art for yourself, and that when you see your pieces you absolutely love them, and that I get tearful when they leave. I mean, the other night we Monday I mailed the cactus commission, right? And she's going to get it tomorrow.
Mhm.
And Sunday night, I realized, oh, I have to pack the painting tomorrow. And immediately, like, tears welled up in my
Yes.
eyes. And I was like, oh my, I feel emotional right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to be gone. I'm never going to see her again, except if I go there or if it's in a picture. Or that's how I feel like that's how I want to feel about my art. And that's how I
Yes.
know that I'm creating from my soul now,
Yes.
because I really am in love with them. And when I stand at the booth, I want to be able to have that confidence of that I'm looking at my art with someone else and I don't give two craps what they think about it because I love it so freaking much. If you
Right.
don't want it, I'll take it home and put it on my wall and be completely happy.
Exactly. And I don't have that so emotional about them yet, but I want to get there.
You are almost there because you just said that one is your
I know
favorite. And
it is,
so,
but
right?
that one.
Yeah.
That was my
I know
favorite.
you're opposite, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting there, and that's been showing me that I'm on the right track,
You
right? I'm
are.
doing things I love. I mean, I love everything I've done before too. It's not that I don't love it. It's just that I want to gravitate things towards things that I want to put on my wall more so than trying to please what I think somebody else is going to want. That's the difference.
Which
Trying to
is so
please someone
bizarre.
else.
How in the world could we possibly know what every single person in the world is going to want to put on their wall?
Exactly. Exactly. And that I don't know why we think that way, but I think it's that the underlying of trying to make it a living
Yes.
adds that pressure.
But I've made a living doing something that in the end turned out not to be very fulfilling.
Right.
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 And so if we make art just to make a living, it won't fulfill us either.
No.
And it will just become this thing that we do to make money. And every time we go into the studio, you'll be like, oh, I have to
Ready.
make that again. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that what we really have to embrace and understand, take time to understand, is that we will truly only be successful and sell art when it's something that we're so passionate and that we love so much that it makes other people want it too.
And it makes you cry when you have to get rid of it.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
agree. I
Absolutely.
agree. I think
Yeah.
it's the best. Okay, girl. You said it. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's
That's
it.
it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, last question I have for you, because we're hitting right at 30 minutes, is we're going to try to stay at 30 minutes when it's just the two of us and leave our longer shows for when we have guests because we want to pick their brains so much. So now that you're moving in the direction that you're craving, like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling, well, just how are you feeling?
Better, like I said. I mean, I just come to accept the fact that I'll have places. I need to find places to store my art. I'm going to have extra that I don't have room for. That I feel if I'm confident in what I'm creating, it's that energy is gonna be put out there. So it's taking away that trying to please everybody, trying to please somebody else. It's taking that off my plate. So it does makes me feel better, makes me feel good, makes me feel like I don't care, really. I'm just doing it to make me happy and things that I would want to put on my wall, like you said. It's that emotion, like you love what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. So
And
that's
now that
kind
you're
of
doing
how I
that,
feel.
do you
I
feel
feel
like you're
better.
more motivated to get into the studio and more motivated to carve out time to
Yes,
create because you're craving, like, oh my gosh, I can't
just
wait to
free.
try this?
Right. Just
Yeah.
freedom. I have that now where I'm not trying to worry about sales and selling. I'm just gonna, the one thing that still have a hard time on is filming and making videos for social media. I know that's still got to be part of it because how else are you going to get your art out there? So that's
Right.
the part that I feel constricted by still because I'm like, oh, I can't move around and my back is going to be, they're going to be filming the back of my head while I'm painting. So that takes a little bit away from my freedom. So I got to figure that out still. That's the part that's holding me back is because if I set a camera up, then I'm worried about showing my back instead of just painting, you know?
Well,
So,
why don't you just put it to the side?
well, I try that, but kind of still get in the way. So that's what I'm saying. I have to kind of figure that out, like figure a good spot where the camera can sit. And then once it's there, I can just let it go and not worry about it. But that's the one thing I still have to kind of figure out. Yeah.
And you will. There's a lot of moving parts to what we do,
Yeah.
It's because we don't need the galleries as much anymore to get our art out there, but we have to be the gallery, and we have to take that part seriously because, you know, as you said, Lee is out there getting her hustle on like every weekend at a different show, figuring that out, which we talked about yesterday, that we would love to have you back on in the fall once you get done with going through all the different shows, and talk more about what you've really found after this summer of doing all of those, and kind of pick your brains some more if you're down for that.
Maybe after you guys both do the Pacific, the best
Oh,
of the
after we do the
Northwest.
best of the Northwest in the fall. Yeah, that'll kind of be the last one, maybe before Christmas. So yeah, that's a good idea. Which, yeah, that's coming. So as soon as summer's over, Tony goes back to work on the 11th, and then it's back in the studio and creating some new things for the new show, which I'll pepper in with the other stuff that I already have. But okay, so I think that's a great place to end on, is that you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you're painting for you and your joy. That is the ultimate goal. We need to have a retreat. That's the other thing that came out of this. And you know, would we actually paint if we all got together, or would we just sit around and cackle and talk and have like the best time? Like, we have to set some structured paint time at these retreats, because all of us together, we have to record that, and
we have to do it. I think we need to do it over 2 days.
Longer, like 3, like, so we have the days to paint, and then nights to like have wine and cocktails, and then just sit around the fire and like totally just shoot the breeze and be silly.
And we'll have a couple assignments so that we do have a set like little schedule that we'll do this on one day, and then we do this, or we do this for the first hour, and then we paint, and we'll figure it out, but it'll be fun.
Totally. It will be fun.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to be closer. There's airplanes, Stacy. You can fly. Wait, where are you?
Yeah.
Did I already ask you that before? You might be like in another country, which might make it a little harder, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. It has been Ohio. You're not that far. You're in the United States. We'll work it out. We can work it out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So, but keep in mind, this is not something that's happening anytime soon. We're talking like a year from now or something, as we work out all the details and stuff. But you'll know.
And then that'll be so fun.
I know. Absolutely. Okay. You guys, it's always wonderful to have you on with us. Thanks for your comments and the love. And hope that you guys have an amazing 2 weeks until we see you again. Next time that we come back on,
Mara and Barbara Reed
are coming back on, and they're going to talk in 2 weeks, and we're going to chat some more about StreamYard and what we've been learning, and lots of other stuff.
And they are our Canadian artist neighbors.
Yes.
So you guys
and then we're back with us the 2 weeks after that. And then in October, I think on the 4th, we have Erwin back from Duck-a-Muck to pick his brain about printing cards and putting his art
and murals.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. So we've got some really fun shows coming up. We're very excited. So stay tuned.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching us.
Okay. I'm going to try to do the closing thing here. Let's see if it works.
Sounds good. Okay. Bye.
Bye. I gotta get better. Okay, now for real.
We're still live.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I gotta get better at when I hit the end broadcast button right after we do it. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna go in here. Hold on. I gotta go back to comments. Get rid of Stacy's comment there. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in. So see all the things that we're learning. Okay, and goodbye again.
Bye.